All right, what's up? Welcome to the NoVig show. We got a few minutes. I decided to go a little bit late today just because I feel like there's only two games, so I was waiting for some news, waiting for some market shakeup. I think we got it. It'll be much better than like yesterday, where there was obviously there was only one game, but we just didn't get the kind of pricing that we wanted. And what happens at the end of the day, a lot of times on NoVig, you'll see any move you want to make, it's just a better price at NoVig. It just is. I don't know why that happens. It just does. Today that already happened. First one we'll go with Julius Randle, 22.5 points. So over 22.5 points, even money. I'll save some liquidity for you guys because there's not that much. There's like $300, but if you want it, you can take it. Here it is, going across the market. Pinnacles minus 107, FanDuel minus 112, Caesars minus 115, DraftKings minus 110. Kalshi is at literally 23.5, minus 126. The idea that anybody in their right mind would ever play that over there, to me, is just crazy town. Like, that makes no sense just because, I mean, for obvious reasons. The reason that's important, if you played this at DraftKings, you would get $90. Well, yeah, like $91. If you played it at NoVig, you get $100. It is the same exact move. Same exact move. Like, there's no difference. And that's the part that I'll never understand, is why why we don't pay attention to price. We got to pay attention to price. Like, that's the number one most important thing in this game. If you don't pay attention to that, you're going to get your ass kicked. That's literally how the books stay in business. That's how DraftKings stays in business. Just uneducated bettors. And once they realize that you are educated, or you have like this much of a brain, you get limited like immediately, just because they know. And it is what it is. If they have a business to run, so I get it. But at the same time, why go for it? Why not just, if you're going to take Julius Randle 23 plus points, which there's a really good reason to take it tonight. Randle is going against the Grizzlies. They've given up 32 points a game to the power forward position over the last 5 games. That is horrific. On top of that, Anthony Edwards might not play. If he does, I still think we're safe. So there it is. But if they announce him out in the next 2 hours, dude, we're gold. Like, you're gonna see this line go to 25, 26. I'd say 25. But anyways, that's number one. 2, we're gonna go to our next one. In that same game, our boy Vince, if there's an assist number for him anywhere, it's minus 105. We can't take it here. We can put in our own assist one for Vince Williams, but he's getting 7 assists. I'll look at the Memphis side just because Ja's not going to play. So Jalen Wells' points is definitely in play. So we'll look right over to him. Ant has not been ruled out. Ja Morant's been knocked down to questionable, or doubtful, I'm sorry. So he's not going to play. That's generally what that means. If they take him from questionable to doubtful, just chalk it up. And I think McDaniels might be the better move for us here. Yeah, we'll go Jaden McDaniels, 16. That's minus 105. So you can do parlays here too. A lot of people don't understand you can do parlays at NoVig too. Like, you do whatever you want. That's why I like NoVig better than any other place that I play. All right, McDaniels over 15.5 points, minus 105. He definitely shows up when Anthony Edwards is not playing. So if you do take him, you are saying, hey, I don't think Edwards is playing. That's literally what you're saying. So thing is, though, I don't think Edwards is playing. This guy's gone over that number in each of the last 2 games without Edwards in the lineup. Memphis gives it up to the small forwards on the season. They've given up 22 points per game. The last 5 games, it's 22.6. So 15 points, not a lot. Even if Edwards does play again, there's still room for everybody to get some in here. But that just feels like the move. That's 2 now. Both guys are off Minnesota, so we kind of want to find something else. I liked we could go Cedric Coward too, if you want to load up and say Ant's not going to play. But then now you got 3, and now you know 1's not hitting. But Coward right now is plus 103 for 15.5 points at NoVig, and he's minus 114 at FanDuel. I mean, that's ridiculous, but hang on, we can find one more. The Bulls and I got a good one for this one. Hang on, I'm on Juice Reel in the back. Hang on. Okay, Jalen Tyson, 12.5 points. I put this up on Twitter already, so you probably already saw this one. But Jalen Tyson, 12.5 points. Minus 136. Basically, everywhere in the world is at 13.5 on him. So you're just saving yourself a point right there. I mean, there's some places like Caesars, it's 13.5 minus 107. And that's all they're offering. So I don't know. I would say 12.5 is fine. If you wanted to go 13.5, actually, you know what? Let's go 13.5 plus 115. I think he can get that. It's been scoring. Yeah, my bad. I misspoke on that Splash Man. I was thinking about Wells and Jalen Wells and Jaren Jackson Jr. Sorry about that. Yeah, so right now across the market, minus 102 for 13.5 on Pinnacle, minus 107 at Caesars, minus 103 at DraftKings. You're getting plus 115. Like that's a ridiculous difference. That shouldn't even exist, but it does. And it will as long as we have prediction markets. That's why we need more people on prediction markets playing there, because the more liquidity, the better. There's going to be a tipping point one day where we do have enough liquidity on these prediction markets that you literally sportsbooks might become obsolete to actual people that know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like the smarter guys will spend less and less time on sportsbooks. They'll just be on prediction markets just doing this. I do think that's going to happen, but we need more people on it. I mean, if we want to go back to Coward in that same game, we can. It's a lot of points for him. I'm still waiting on whatchamacallit. I want them to rule out Ja and give us Vince lines like everywhere. But right now, Vince is 6.5 assists. Yeah, you can't even take the over, which said like there's no liquidity. What we could do is we could make our own order. Let's make our order. So here's what we'd want to do. You don't have to wait for liquidity on here. You can just make it. So what I would say you do is, hang on, let me just see what the market has. Vince Williams, 6.5 is plus 113 at Pinnacle. I'd want to beat that. So I would say you go to make it and you say plus 120, 6.5 assists. And then you put how much you want in there. So we would get over 6.5 assists plus 120, and what would be offered to the market is under 6.5 minus 120. So right now, that would be, oh my God, that would be the best price in the world. Someone would have to take that. Does that make sense? I'll do a half unit on that. So we could even go a little bit better because the under at the books is minus 143 is the best one I see. So minus 151. I'd say go a half on Williams plus 120. That's fair enough. But you can manipulate it enough. You know what I mean? You don't have to fall in line. You can manipulate it to whatever you want it to be. That's the other thing. And then what happens is you would go to your portfolio and the active ones, it would just say not filled or filled, whatever it is. Once it's filled, now you're ready to go. On top of that, we got boost everywhere tonight. So if you want to use a boost, you can definitely use a boost. We have the rewards. If you check it out, daily login, parlay insurance. If you lose by one leg, 3-leg or more, then they'll give you $5 in cash. I mean, dude, it's a great place to play. If you're not on NoVig, I would get on NoVig. There's a link right in the tweet underneath this. If you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description. Just use promo code SLOP. You'll see, like, if you click the link in the description, it'll auto-populate the promo code SLOP. So you're all set there. Let me make sure we have enough plays, though, for right now. Randall over 22.5 points, even money. Jaden McDaniels over 15.5 points, minus 105. Jalen Tyson, 13.5 points, plus 115. Vince Williams, 7+ assists, plus 120. We would assume that would get filled, and it should get filled because if anyone liked the under, they'd be able to just take the under because it would be the best price in the world is what you're offering. So when people see it, when they're looking on screens and EV tools, that would pop up. The fact that it's minus 150 at Pinnacle, but it's minus 120 at NoVig. If that makes any sense to you, then you're good. You should be using NoVig. If it doesn't make sense, just write a question in there. Just say, hey, that doesn't make sense to me, and I'll tell you how. It's peer-to-peer, which means all I'm doing is putting in what I want. Does that make sense? Like I'm putting in, hey, Vince Williams over 6.5 assists plus 120. In order for me to get what I want, someone has to come along and like the under. That's how this game we play started in the beginning. It was someone who liked the under versus someone who liked the over, and they just said, okay, cool, we agree on the price. Boom. That's all that's happening here. It's the same thing. You don't want to do it against the house because the house, they're trying to take your money. I mean, it's an algorithm designed to take all your cash. That's why the prices are just not as good. That at the end of the day, that's what it is. Well, that's going to do it for today. Those are 4 moves. We only have 2 games, 4 moves. That's pretty big. I'm excited about that. If you don't have NoVig, get NoVig. A link in the description, promo code SLOP. They will roll out the red carpet for you. If you ever have any questions, just let me know. I will see all of you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the cash. Thanks for watching.